Thanks so much for joining us for another edition of KFFB's Open Mic program. We do have Senator John Boozman with us right now. And Senator, thanks so much for taking time and talking with us.
Hey, Bob. Thank you so much for having me, as always.
Well, you know, we've been doing a lot of lockdown, and then we've been open for business in Arkansas, and there's just been so much going on. I mean, and then we've got election cycle coming up. I mean, it seems like it's busier than ever. But one of the most important things I think that we have talked over the years, and that's the veterans and the comprehensive veterans mental health bill, which you were really pushing for, that preventing veteran suicide. Even the VA secretary called this the key to unlocking veteran suicide. Talk about this entire comprehensive veterans bill.
Well, this was a big veterans bill that has to do, as you said, with suicide and really trying to cover all aspects of it. So we worked with Senator Moran, the chairman, and then Senator Tester from Montana, the ranking member. Democrat, Republicans working together to try and come up with better ways to make it such we have 20 veteran suicides a day. That number hasn't changed in the last 10 years, even though we spent a lot more money. So what we tried to do with my portion of the bill is make it such that we had better metrics, that we quit measuring by money spent and availability, but really seeing how the programs are working. And the other part that we did was we've got so many entities throughout the country that really do a very, very good job serving veterans and others regarding suicide. So we said, let's allow those that are doing such a great job, let's let them get a little stipend from the VA, and so that veterans can use their services also. When you look at the numbers, Bob, it's really interesting that of the 20 that commit suicide, 14 of those will not be part of the VA system. In other words, only 6. So in allowing, and your listeners are so aware, being in rural areas and things, a lot of times you just don't have the availability. So to be able to go to, a local entity that is doing a good job in this regard, getting a little bit of help with them serving veterans, and then also helping us capture those people to become part of the VA system. That's really what this is all about. So we're really very proud of it. As you said, Secretary Wilkie said that he felt like this was really key in getting us off that 20 a day number and starting to look where we can lower that significantly over a period of time.
When you look at that, though, it's because they're not part of that program. They're not, I hate to even call it program, part of the services. When you say there's 6 out of 14, well, how can we get veterans to realize this is not a gimme? I mean, we talk about that each time, but I guess we just need to say it every day until we get that percentage up, that more participate with the veterans, because it's not the same. Matter of fact, on this road trip, we've been all over north central Arkansas with this community open mic, and I've talked to veterans, and they said it's not the same as it was 20 years ago. It's so much better, and it's part of your leadership. And I mean, my head goes off there because it is different. No,
we can be very proud of the improvement that has been made over the last several years. The Veterans Healthcare budget is going to go up 10 to 12% even this year. So we're talking about a significant amount of money. Again, making sure that we've got a quality system in every way. I think it's a lot of things, Bob. Somebody might have had a bad experience with the VA several years ago and just don't want to go back. And so you've got people like that. Also in our rural areas, it's just difficult. We've got the 2 big VA hospitals in Arkansas, and we've got a lot of satellite clinics, but you got a lot of areas where there's simply nothing. And so many of our veterans are elderly. They're in situations where they depend on family to drive them and things like that. So there's all kinds of reasons. We're working really hard to capture those. And as you say, these are not gimme. These are earned benefits to make sure that they're getting the care that they deserve.
There's another part that we'd like to talk about, too, the Deborah Sampson Act that you were championing and talking about women's veterans. That's something else that we forget, that sometimes the veterans was so outdated. I mean, I talked to veterans, just a few years ago, felt like it would take them 90 days, and whatever they had, they said, I may be dead before I can get, and jokingly, but in some ways very serious, But it's changed. Well, same thing with women. We need to talk about that. So explain a little bit what that's all about.
Well, myself and Senator Tester teamed up with the Deborah Sampson Act, and what that does is it just really makes sure that we are moving as fast as we can move to having accessibility for health care for our women veterans. The VA system was set up to serve men because they were by far, it was a little bit of an anomaly, for a woman to be in the service. There were many of them, and they served so well and did such a tremendous job. But when you looked at them compared to the total numbers, it was a very, very small amount. So the VA medical system was built with males in mind. And so they've worked very hard to their credit. What this bill says is, hey, we're really serious about getting this done as quickly as possible. So we're giving them additional resources to make sure that the specialists that they need are available, the privacy that they need is available, and the list just goes on and on. It really is amazing the number of women that are serving in the military now and doing such an outstanding job. We need to make sure that when they do retire, when they leave the military, we need to make sure that they're eligible for the same benefit, but it's there for them with the facilities and again, the specialists that they need.
When you look at the VA hospital, I mean, they're on the front lines too. I mean, they're continuing on with all the stuff that's going on in the background. And you had a visit recently up in Northwest Arkansas VA, and that's a lot of people think there's only Little Rock, and as we said, we've got two. To speak to that for a moment.
Well, we've got two excellent hospitals. Then we have a lot of people that go over to Memphis. We work with them over to Poplar Bluff in Missouri and even Shreveport. And so we've got our two main ones, but when you live in, if you lived over in eastern Arkansas near Memphis, then that would be convenient. You would be eligible to go there also. The reason that we were in Fayetteville was a couple reasons. We just wanted to pat the staff on the back and tell them we appreciated the great job that they're doing in regard to COVID. The VA's numbers have been really excellent. The survival rate has been tremendous, and they've been very, very careful about making it such that they weren't infecting a lot of people. And they have been also in cases like New Orleans and other places where it's gotten so hot, so difficult in New York, they were able to open, to use some of their facility, some of their expertise with doctors and nurses to help out the regular medical care. So we can be very, very proud of them. So I wanted to pat them on the back, thank them, and then also make sure, talk to them directly if they were getting the equipment that they needed to keep patients safe, to do a great job, but also to keep themselves safe. They truly are on the front line. So the good news is that all of that seems to be going very, very well. Hopefully in the not too distant future, we'll be able to do the same thing with our Little Rock VA, which truly does an outstanding job.
And we also need to talk about the census. We've been traveling around on this open mic tour, and the census, one city said they were in the 40 percentile, one at 70 some percentile. So we really got to get everyone counted, because they got to understand this is so important for their city or their county to get turnback money for infrastructure. It's so important.
It's so important, Bob, and I'm so glad you brought it up. But, how fair is it if you have a community that is the same size, each community about the same population, one does a really good job with their census, and the other one not as good a job, at the 40%, maybe the other one's at 70%. And then the turnback dollars, when the state and the federal government determines who gets what, then the community that did the better job with the census would get significantly more dollars than the community that didn't do well. So this is really important. Arkansas, we're in a situation where, we talked about health care. There's all kinds of things. We need all the help we can get. We pay our taxes. And so, again, these are not give-me's either. These are distribution from the federal government, state. But we want to make sure that Arkansas gets its fair share, our local communities and our counties. So I know it's a little bit of a hassle, but it really does pay off in a big way, and it's so very important. If anybody's having any trouble, they call their local officials. They're welcome to call my office. And this is, information that is going to be kept. It's not anything that's going to be used against anybody. And this goes back forever, in our country's founding. It is important to understand what kind of congressional representation the states and the areas have. So for all kinds of reasons, it's important that we just take that extra few minutes and do fill out those surveys. It would be really helpful to the community.
And a final thought here is we're looking at the white chocolate Reese's peanut butter cups, and they've marked out the calories. I think that's for Bob and John.
Well, no, that's where you make your mistake, Bob, is looking at the. I look at the object and really try very, very hard not to notice how many calories are in different things, or you wouldn't get to eat any of the fun stuff ever.
But I really think your staff must think I'm 800 pounds because all I talk about is food, and then I text when there's something. Hey, did you see the new thing that you got right now? It's the s'mores shake. It's awesome.
I don't know who thinks up these things, but they really do a good job. And I think there's more of a tendency, this time of the year with such a unique situation with the COVID, but despite all that, as people are out more, enjoying the outdoors, we're seeing big increase in fishing license. And your listeners are in such a beautiful part, not only of Arkansas, but of the entire country. There's all kinds of opportunities to get out. So I think, you tend to have a little bit more homemade ice cream, to have a little bit more of the cookout stuff that's so great, and then also these different dishes that somebody dreams up to tempt us to buy. And you and we're pretty much a sucker for the stuff right. that they tempt us with,
says,
I think.
Yes, I'll take one. Just come around. You offer me dessert, and I said, yes, I'll take one. Well, I appreciate you taking time and talking with us and keeping us updated on what's going on all over the nation, and especially for veterans. And if they have any questions, call your office. Please, veterans, do it today.
Oh, very much so. And really, that's in regard to veterans issues, Social Security, IRS. The list goes on and on. Just anything that has to do with the federal government, just jump on the internet and look for our website, and you'll find out how to contact us. And we will be glad to help any way we can. And again, Bob, as always, thank you for having us on.